I share that equation with Jubin where we both are like very unaffected. After Kabir Singh, I was very happy how things were going. Like 2019 and the beginning of 2020 were really good years for me. We are still all trying to understand the psychology and how things are working, what is going to work in theaters, what's going to do better on OTT. I think people are still finding their ground. They are never going to go stand in auditions of small studios of Aramnagar in queues for one ad and then maybe not get it because the chances are 1 out of 200. I've been listening to Coke Studio on loop. But if I have to say, I think Prateek Kuhad is on my kind of list right now. Some of his songs are on the loop. Hi guys, this is Nikita Dutta and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
We have this one of my favorite actresses, not merely because of the talent that she possesses, but also because of the fact that she's someone who stands for what she believes in, and that's quite a rarity. Nikita Dutta, pleasure having you back with us on
Thank you, Faridoon, for having me.
Where does this courage come from?
What courage are you talking about?
To stand in what you believe in, to stand for what you believe in.
I think it's less about courage and a lot to do with how you have been brought up, number one, which I feel should be like the primary foundation of your being. You cannot be somebody without being open about what you stand for. So for me, it comes definitely from, my childhood and my growing up history. But I'm glad I can, because a lot of people don't have the liberty to do that. A lot of people are scared to do that. So I'm just glad I can kind of speak and be the way I want to be.
And it's very obvious when I see your social media feed that you at times feel rather maybe eager to say, but maybe you're not able to say it, and that in a way maybe it's frustrating as well.
So I'll be very honest. There are times when you want to say and you feel like, okay, maybe you should just give it a skip because you're going to attract unnecessary attention. But at the same time, I feel sometimes I on purpose detach myself. That is for nothing else but for my own mental peace, which is very important at the same time, because social media tends to kind of get to you sometimes negatively. It kind of affects whatever's going around. You kind of take it personally, feeling very helpless. The best way to go about it is just completely detach from it. And that's what I end up doing. Like sometimes there are things happening and I'm like, I don't want to know about it. It's probably going to affect me. So that's the route I have taken to kind of just make sure my mental peace is intact.
Right. So what else do you do for your mental peace? Like in terms of maybe listening to music or something?
Yeah, so I've realized listening to music, I have been trying to develop a habit of reading. I have not been a very great reader since childhood, but that's something I've been working on. So these are 2-3 things I've realized they kind of really keep me away from, kind of getting involved in something that's too grave that's happening around. Thirdly is my go-to thing is going out for walks. So I feel going out for a walk or just kind of say doing yoga or working out is a form of meditation for me, because at that time I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about myself and how I need to be and what I'm doing currently. So these are few things that I kind of resort to get my mind in peace.
Right, and then you're like a major fitness freak.
Yes, so that's been for a while now.
Abhishek Bachchan का कहना ये है
he has, I think, made sure the whole world knows about it.
Right, कि आपने कौन सा वो माजा या what
gold spot, yes.
That you did not have gold spot because of the calories.
Yeah.
Right, so but that's a great trait to have in terms of being particular about what you eat.
Yeah, so I think that's also it's just developed over time. It's not something I consciously made an effort towards. I was battling these weight issues and health issues, so I think it just became something that's now an inbuilt system. So it's not something I would do on purpose, but it just happens naturally. It comes to me naturally. Like I don't have to make an effort about, oh, I'm not going to eat this. I'm going to eat this right now. It just happens now.
Right, and you're very particular about your workout.
Yes, so that is something I try and not miss at least 6 times a week. 5 to 6 times a week is what I
Mm.
kind of aim at. And as I said, it's I think more than a workout. It's become like that me time, that that form of meditation. Because at that time, I know I'm going to put my phone away. I'm not going to think about anything else. I'm just going to focus on this. So it's become like how you have to have your breakfast in the morning. It's something
Mm.
like that. I need to work out in the day.
Right, and you are extremely particular even during pandemic when many people they found ways of putting on weight कि यार हम
Yes.
क्या करें हम जिम ओपन
Yes.
नहीं है ये ओपन नहीं है but I think करने वालों ने किया आपने
Yeah,
किया
you have to find a way. See, where there's a will, there's always a way.
correct
So I remember, like, I was struggling thinking that how am I going to get my cardio in and how am I going to get my weight training in and all. But I found ways. Like, there was a terrace that I had luckily access to where I was living. So I kind of made it into like my whole workout area. And I used to do up and down stairs. I started climbing 30, 35 floors up and down stairs just to kind of get that daily cardio in. I started taking steps inside the house. Like in my free time, I used to just walk in my entire house thinking that let me keep myself active. So I did those little things and try to kind of fight the entire, that entire stagnation period that we all went through.
right and what is your diet like say breakfast lunch dinner
So, with time, I have learned to be more flexible and adapting towards, like, sometimes you're not in the same place, you're traveling and you're outside, you're in a different city. So, I kind of always try and make my way around. At the same time, I feel like what's life without trying new food and tasting new things? So, that is also something, and plus, I love food, like, thoroughly enjoy
Abhishek
eating
Bachchan won't
food.
agree
He won't agree because he has his own theory of like how
Hmm.
I kind of measure food and I won't eat this and I won't eat that.
right
But I genuinely enjoy eating a lot and my appetite is also good. It's not that I undereat or anything. To the people who've seen me eat, they'll all vouch for it. So it's just I try and make that balance that when you're traveling and you want to try something new, so how to kind of accommodate it during your entire day, and then you can kind of adjust other things around.
So Abhishek would say that she measures her food.
Yeah, I still do, unfortunately, and I have confessed that it's a really bad habit that I have. I have been trying to get rid of it. Unfortunately, I've not been able to, but yeah, I still do that. I don't recommend anybody to do this. Like, please never measure your food.
Kabir Singh happened. I think you were sitting over here.
Yes.
After that, extraordinary response to the film. You got a great response as well. How do you look at your journey since Kabir Singh? Are you happy with the way things have happened post that?
So, to be very honest, I think after Kabir Singh, I was very happy how things were going. Like 2019 and the beginning of 2020 were really good years for me.
Ji.
But then the lockdown happened, and I think the entire, not just the industry, the entire world kind of just went down. And it didn't do very great for me because like Big Bull got pushed and the book got pushed. And at that time, Rocket Gang was just 4 days from starting when the lockdown was announced. So that entire shoot got pushed completely. So I do feel that has somewhat kind of affected my entire graph. Because films didn't release as they were supposed to release. Also, they went on OTT at that time. They both were supposed to be big, like come out in the theaters. The entire game changed. Like the entire OTT thing came in, and theaters slightly, they were shut for the longest time. So we're still all getting out of it. We're still recovering from those entire 2 years that all of this happened.
Right.
And I think touchwood now things are kind of getting back to normal for me as well. But those 2 years did kind of end up being a slight setback in my case.
You've been shooting in Pondicherry of late.
Yes, I am. I'm not allowed to talk about the film. I'm so sorry. But yes, that is a film I'm doing for which I was shooting in Pondicherry.
Great. Now, how do you look at the shift in audience perception, the way we are consuming content, this dramatic shift towards OTT, for example, as well? How do you look at this particular shift? And do you think, as an actor, you would want to capitalize upon it in some way or the other?
See, as actors, we always want to capitalize on the interest of the audience. Like for us, that's the primary thing.
Right.
At the end of it, you become like, why did Kabir Singh become such a big film? It's because the audience entirely loved it. So who's to gain from that? We are to gain from that. So why will we not do something that kind of pleases the audience? So, but at the same time, if you notice that this entire shift that you're talking about, it's happened post these 2 years of the lockdown. Things have changed. I think we are still all trying to understand the psychology and how things are working, what is going to work in theaters, what's going to do better on OTT. I think people are still finding their ground. we're still not there yet. We're still trying to understand. It's like imagine years and years of an entire pattern has changed suddenly. So 2 years is very little time to kind of understand that and switch and turn things around and do it in a way that is acceptable. So I think everybody is trying to find their space. Everybody is trying to kind of get there where things are more acceptable than they are right now.
Okay, and so how do you look at this increasing and obsessive sort of interest in Bollywood in a way? Like be it social media, we keep on seeing all sorts of trends happening, and there seems to be a lot of interest in Bollywood somehow, and maybe it is also putting some sort of pressure on actors as well, and various creative people to deliver certain kind of content. Maybe you're someone who has, I think, your own opinions. How do you look at this sort of
Of course,
interest?
there is pressure, but I feel a lot of it comes one because the widespread of social media, of course, which was not there earlier. Like it's not that films that weren't that great didn't come in earlier. There were always films that were very good, they were average, and they were not so good. There've always been films like that. It's just that today, because of social media, everybody kind of puts their opinion out there. So it's just we all know what everybody's thinking. Unlike earlier, it was only word of mouth. Now it's more like, okay, this tweet, this review, this critic, this hashtag, this trend. It's always like that. Secondly, at the same time, I do feel that, because again of the entire lockdown phase and from the work from home phase, people had a lot of time to kind of invest into watching things because that was the only thing that was like a getaway for them. When you're sitting at home and you're locked up inside your house, what do you do that can get your mind off? You either listen to music or you watch something. There was not much to do, even though we tried kind of finding activities and all, but this was everybody's go-to thing. I think the maximum content was consumed in the last 2 years
Jay.
that has been in the history of cinema all over the world. So because of that, everybody has become bigger content consumers. And I think the ease of having it on your fingertips, on your phone, and on your TV, having access to it, has made people more vocal. Like now, people are more involved in it. And probably that's why there is so much of an opinion that goes around.
When Kabir Singh came, so somehow we have these notions when it comes to say Bollywood in a way as well, that that stereotypes in a way that she is the heroine, he is the hero, and then second lead and character artist and villain.
Yeah.
So आपको लेबल कर दिया गया एक तरीके से सेकंड लीड के तरीके
Yeah,
से,
yes.
बट मे बी शायद हम ओटीटी में उस तरीके से नहीं देखते हैं. वहाँ पर कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं,
जी.
कैरेक्टर्स को
जी.
फ्लैश आउट किया जाता है, उनको ग्रो करने का मौका दिया
Yes.
जाता है, they are allowed to breathe as well. So do you feel that maybe it is time for these perceptions also to be changed, and do you feel that maybe as an actor you would want to assert your presence in terms of that, that there is a certain way that I would want to be treated as an actor?
I totally agree with you. I actually don't have an opinion on this. I completely agree with you that it's changing now. I wouldn't deny it. If you even see it in films, characters are kind of also way more important, and that is coming across. But still, I think we are not there yet. We are still in that ये hero है, ये heroine है, ये first lead है, ये second lead है, ये villain है. We are still in that. I think that shift is happening, but it's not there yet. Unlike OTT, I think you kind of get the attention that your character deserves.
Okay, and what are your views on approaching, say, the casting directors, filmmakers on your own? How important is that in a way for getting roles that you feel that maybe you deserve?
I don't think there's anything wrong in asking for work. I mean, you're ethically and in a very disciplined way if you're going and asking somebody that I think I can fit into this role. If something is announced and can you let me audition for it, I wouldn't even mind doing that. I think there's nothing wrong in that, and that's been my approach from day one. I'll tell you, funnily, most of the work that I have done so far, out of these 6-7 things, I have actually auditioned for everything. There is, apart from Kabir Singh and Big Bull, there is no other thing that I kind of got without auditioning.
Correct.
I have had to audition for everything, and in fact, even still, there are times when I'm called and they're like, "Can you please come for a screen test?" And I'm okay doing that because I think it's just fair. That's probably the most fair and the ethical process to go by it, and I'm okay with that instead of these weird methods and ways that people have. So for me, in fact, that's the way it should work. you're deserving, you're capable, you fit the part, and you should get it.
And say, for example, if you would have been like an industry kid, and Kabir Singh would have become this huge success, and there could have been many forces from within the industry who could have literally tom-tommed about you,
Yes.
about your performance. Would that have helped in a way?
Of course, that would have helped. Any day, being from the industry and having family, father, mother, sister, husband, brother, anybody from the industry, of course, is definitely an advantage. Being a star kid is definitely an advantage. It's, in fact, a big advantage. I mean, they are never going to go stand in auditions of small studios of Aram Nagar in queues for one ad and then maybe not get it because the chances are 1 out of 200. They're not going to see that side of it. But then that's our struggle, of course. And, you can't fight with somebody's fate. And I believe that's my fate. And you finally get what you deserve and what you're meant to.
Okay, and what is the importance of mental health, of having a life away from work? Movies and this entire business can be extremely stressful.
Yes.
The fame can be extremely stressful as well. So having a life away from this, having a family that is supportive, having certain hobbies that keep you busy, or certain maybe causes that keep you mentally charged. How important is that?
Very important, because I just feel that the kind of instability that is there, some days you're working a lot, and then some days you have like this entire period when there's no work at all. I feel you really need to have a life outside to kind of balance your mind. And family plays a huge role in that. I'm, touchwood, very lucky to have a family that's been extremely supportive from the very beginning. Like, that's also where I derive most of my strength from, most of my patience. All of that comes from my family, because they've always been standing behind me as a rock. And as you said, you need to find ways to kind of keep yourself occupied. So I think one of the reasons why I picked up yoga and I picked up running was because I know for a fact that it's not, I don't do it because I want to look a certain way. I do it because it gives me peace, it makes me happy, it keeps me occupied. These are the primary reasons why I do these things. So that's the kind of life I have built apart from working. And I know these are the things I'll go back to when there's no work happening. So that's what gives me peace and creates a balance for me. But somehow I feel everyone in this industry should have that, like a getaway, a mental getaway, which kind of I think keeps you in balance, in check.
Great. And who are your favorite singers?
Singers. I have a lot, especially at the moment. I've been listening to Coke Studio on loop. But if I have to say, I think Prateek Kuhad is on my kind of list right now. Some of his songs are on the loop.
And what about Jubin Nautiyal? Do you like his
Jubin, I
music?
love Jubin's songs. Some of his romantic tracks are my favorite. I've in fact shown him a list, especially the song from Kabir Singh. That's like, I think, on the top of the list.
How do you handle link-up rumors?
I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It really didn't affect me at all. My parents did have a good laugh about it, because there was news that, our parents have met and we're probably going to get married and all. So we all had a good laugh about it. But I think I share that equation with Jubin, where we both are like very unaffected.
Good friends.
Yeah.
Where have I heard that before?
Huh?
Where have I heard that before?
You must have, but this is very genuine. Hi guys, this is Nikita Dutta and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.